Picture this, a modern passenger jet, a symbol of human ingenuity and our ability to connect across vast distances. Inside, it's full of families, excited for vacations, reunions, and new adventures. There are also seasoned travelers, business people closing deals, and individuals embarking on personal journeys. The aircraft is now soaring effortlessly through a clear summer sky, a picture-perfect day for flying. But then, subtly at first, a strange and unsettling lethargy begins to sweep over everyone on board. Passengers begin to feel unusually tired and drowsy. Gradually, the cabin falls eerily silent, the usual hum of conversation replaced by an unsettling quiet. The crew, highly trained professionals, are the first to succumb to this mysterious affliction. Their minds cloud, confusion sets in, and they are unable to react to the unfolding crisis. This sounds like a scene from a thriller, but this isn't fiction. It's the chilling and tragic reality of Helios Airways Flight 522. The plane, now a ghost ship, with no one at the helm capable of responding, continues to fly on autopilot, a silent and deadly course. It remains unresponsive to frantic calls and increasingly desperate attempts at communication from air traffic control. Inside, a silent and terrifying catastrophe has unfolded, unseen and largely unacknowledged. Passengers and crew alike are now completely incapacitated, unaware of the impending danger. All of this, triggered by a simple yet devastatingly critical, unnoticed failure in the aircraft's systems. The aircraft drifts aimlessly across the European continent, a phantom in the sky, a chilling testament to the fragility of life and the potential for disaster. Air traffic controllers watch in horror, and families wait anxiously at airports, desperate for answers and clinging to hope. This is the haunting and unforgettable story of what began as a routine flight, a journey like any other, but tragically became one of aviation's most sobering and deeply felt tragedies, a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance and safety. August 14, 2005. Helios Airways Flight 522 departs Cyprus for Prague with a stop in Athens. 121 people are on board, expecting a routine journey. The Boeing 737 climbs into clear skies, everything appearing normal. But as the plane enters Greek airspace, air traffic controllers receive only silence. The aircraft, still on course, becomes a ghost, flying but unresponsive. Controllers try every protocol, but the radio remains dead. The plane flies over Athens, never descending, and begins circling in a holding pattern. No one on the ground knows why. The ghost flight has begun. With no response from the jet, despite repeated attempts to make contact, a growing sense of dread fills the air traffic control room. The controllers try every frequency, every protocol, but the cockpit remains silent. The Hellenic Air Force, recognizing the severity of the situation, immediately scrambles two F-16s to intercept the unresponsive aircraft. Time is of the essence, and every second counts as the fighter jets race towards the silent airliner. The fighter pilots approach, expecting chaos in the cockpit, perhaps a hijacking, a medical emergency, or some other form of distress, but find only eerie stillness. An unsettling silence hangs in the air, broken only by the hum of the aircraft's systems. The captain's seat is empty, a stark and unsettling void where a seasoned professional should be. The co-pilot is slumped over the controls, unconscious and unresponsive, his body a dead weight against the instruments. Oxygen masks dangle in the cabin, a silent testament to a sudden and catastrophic loss of cabin pressure. Passengers appear unconscious, slumped in their seats, lost to hypoxia, their faces pale and lifeless. The scene is one of utter devastation. The plane has flown on autopilot for hours, a ghost ship in the sky, its human operators incapacitated and unable to respond to the unfolding crisis. Suddenly, a figure appears in the cockpit, a flicker of movement in the otherwise still and silent space. It's flight attendant Andreas Prodromou, a beacon of hope in the face of unimaginable tragedy. Using a portable oxygen bottle, he desperately tries to revive himself and assess the situation. Summoning every ounce of his courage and training, he tries desperately to take control of the aircraft. He signals the F-16s, desperately trying to communicate the dire situation and his attempts to regain control. A fleeting moment of hope amidst the encroaching darkness, a testament to the human spirit's resilience. But the aircraft is nearly out of fuel, the gauges reading dangerously low, a grim reminder of the limited time remaining, and his heroic efforts, valiant as they are, come too late to avert the impending disaster. The tragedy is now inevitable, a heartbreaking conclusion to a desperate fight for survival against impossible odds. Prodromou's heroic attempt is a final heartbreaking twist. Minutes after he reaches the cockpit, the left engine flames out. Fuel is gone. The autopilot disengages. The plane begins a powerless descent. The F-16S follow as the 737 glides toward the hills near Grammatico. At 4 p.m., Helios Flight 522 crashes, ending its ghostly journey. All 121 people on board perish. The silence of the flight is replaced by the sirens of rescue crews and the grief of a nation. The world is left searching for answers. In the aftermath of the crash, investigators meticulously comb through the wreckage, searching for any clue that might explain this silent disaster. Every piece of debris, every twisted metal fragment, holds a potential answer. The pressure is on to understand what went wrong and prevent such a tragedy from ever happening again. The black boxes, the flight data recorder, and cockpit voice recorder become crucial pieces of the puzzle. They reveal a chain of seemingly small errors, a cascade of unfortunate events that ultimately led to catastrophe. The sequence began with a routine maintenance check. A seemingly insignificant detail, a misstep, would soon have devastating consequences. The pressurization system, vital for maintaining a safe cabin environment at high altitudes, was inadvertently left in manual mode, never switched back to its automatic setting. This seemingly minor error was the first domino to fall. The crew, burdened with numerous pre-flight checks, unfortunately missed this critical setting during their pre-flight inspections, a moment of oversight with tragic repercussions. As the plane climbed to its cruising altitude, the cabin slowly, imperceptibly, failed to pressurize. The air thinned, and the passengers and crew were unknowingly entering a danger zone. A warning horn sounded in the cockpit, a shrill alert designed to grab the pilot's attention. But in a cruel twist of fate, the pilots, perhaps due to fatigue or distraction, mistook it for a different, less critical alert. This misidentification sealed their fate. Hypoxia, a lack of oxygen to the brain, set in quickly, its insidious effects rapidly taking hold. The oxygen deprivation clouded their judgment, impaired their cognitive functions, and ultimately left them unable to respond effectively to the emergency. They were losing consciousness, unaware of the impending doom. Passengers, too, were quickly overcome by the lack of oxygen, succumbing before they could even react and deploy their oxygen masks. Panic likely ensued, but it was a silent, desperate struggle. Only Prodramou, a trained diver with a higher tolerance for low oxygen environments, managed to stay conscious for a little longer, desperately trying to help. But by then, with the pilots incapacitated and the aircraft spiraling out of control, it was tragically too late to avert disaster. A simple oversight, a missed switch, had set off a fatal chain reaction, a cascade of errors that led to the ultimate tragedy. The ghost flight's mystery was finally solved, the truth revealed through painstaking investigation but at a terrible and irreversible cost. The Helios tragedy forced the aviation industry to confront its vulnerabilities. Warning systems were redesigned to be clearer and more distinct. Checklists were updated to ensure pressurization settings are always verified. Training for hypoxia recognition became more rigorous. The mantra became, "When in doubt, get on oxygen." The lessons of Flight 522 are now standard practice, making air travel safer for millions. But the haunting question remains, can every risk be foreseen? The ghost flight is a solemn reminder of the sky's unforgiving nature.